Hey everybody, thanks for joining me. Welcome back to another episode of Breaking Bitcoin with your host Justin Wise for CryptoCurrencies.com. I hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. I had a wonderful weekend spending time with my family. Now I will say this, for the altcoin traders out there, this weekend was a very exciting time. Consolidation looked good and volume looked juicy, and for those who were brave enough to take those bets, they have paid off this morning. We have peaks across the board on many good alts. I've heard lots of good things, lots of success coming in. We personally were able to close out at about 20% profits from the calls that we made just last night around 11 p.m. Waking up this morning to some good gains. All our targets hit. We closed out 0x and SIS, so pretty excited about that. And I spent most of this morning looking at the charts, looking for some more prime entries, and although on the longer time frames, things still look pretty frothy. For an entry on the 1 hour or the 4 hour for something short, a day trade for today, I'm just not seeing it. So I'm going to spend the day working on my code, and this evening we'll take a look at the charts and see if we've had the pullbacks that I want to see and see if things look better for an entry. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to keep up to date on the latest in crypto, trade signals, and premium results, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you're a returning viewer, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. We really appreciate your support. All right, moving on. Let's get to the news. Bitfinex. Bitfinex is in the news today. It's been in the news all weekend. Rumors are abounding on the internet that Bitfinex is insolvent, prompted mainly by a Medium post and Twitter posts by ProofofResearch, CryptoMedication on Twitter. Now, we've discussed previously on this channel the individual Bitfinex'd, who has come out very vocally against Bitfinex, saying that they're insolvent and trying to point out their shady business practices. My only issue with Bitfinex is that although his research is fascinating and interesting and I've looked into it, I can't corroborate it though. That's the only issue that I have with this, is that there's no corroborative evidence, even though some of the data seems exciting and interesting. Once you start to peel back the layers, not that it's not true, but you can't find any corroboration with a reliable source. So Bitfinex was on Jimmy Song and Tone Vei's live stream, and they said they were going to bring on Phil Potter to debate with him and basically try to talk about some of his accusations, and Bitfinex dipped out. Now, I'm not saying that he's wrong, but I'm just saying the optics are terrible. Let's see here. Now, I do think that it's funny how he could go on for an hour about how Bitfinex sucks and how Bitfinex is this and that. And, you know, he had a voice modulator on and he had no camera, so he's completely anonymous. He is an anonymous individual. Yet as soon as you were going to bring on a real live person with his identity saying, hey, this is me and I'm going to stand on what I say, he chickened out. Now, again, I'm not saying that he's right or wrong. I'm just saying that the optics suck. Okay, so let's take a look at what we're talking about here. So this is the individual in question, CryptoMedication, on the Twitter. I have his Twitter and his Telegram link down below. He's got a fairly interesting feed here. I recommend you guys go check it out, kind of make your own decision. Now, this is what concerns me. This is his Medium post for his original Bitfinex article over the weekend, and this is his response to Bitfinex's response. Both have been suspended on Medium. Now, I do not like to see this. I do not like to see this. You know, I wanted to look up the original articles that lit a fire under this FUD. It was... This concerns me. I'm a pretty fierce advocate for free speech. If you violently, and I just know that that's the best way to handle things. I know the only way to defeat bad ideas or poor research is with good ideas and good research. If you violently repress something, it just festers and attracts radicals. You have to defeat bad ideology and philosophy in the open market of ideas with better ideas and better philosophy. So I don't like this idea of censoring his articles by Medium, and this concerns me. Like I said, I've linked his Twitter and his Telegram down below, and I will be interested into looking into this in more depth as more information becomes available. I will say this. If you understand that mainstream banks feel threatened by Bitcoin, or even that they just want to do what banks do and what government regulators do and control things and throttle the life out of it and just suck the blood and marrow out of it, because that's what governments and banks do, then you have to understand that they have no incentive to make it easy to transfer money, to make it easy for crypto users. Going from fiat, which is the banking and the government's realm, to crypto, which is this new realm that we want to make free and prosperous. This is why KYC is all over the exchanges, why American Bitcoin investors are legally prohibited from engaging with some of the highest volume and innovative Bitcoin exchanges like Bitfinex and BitMEX. BitMEX probably the most innovative exchange out there. The regulation and the absolutely massive government desire to control and regulate throttles the American investors, throttles investors and all these crypto traders in larger countries. And this is why so many people in America are forced to either avoid crypto, lose at crypto, or break the law to sustain their own interests in crypto. VPNs, Tor, etc. These are things that many individuals are forced to do just to meet their own needs, to positively grow with their own crypto, just to get access to the resources that are otherwise not available to them. Most people don't want to break the law. Most people don't want to go to all this trouble. But when you make it so difficult for them, America, Europe, when you make it so difficult for them, and your active interests are being infringed upon, you do what you must. So with that in mind, Bitfinex does not have it easy. They've tried very hard to make crypto trading and their services as an exchange available to many people, and they have, like all crypto exchanges, faced massive threats, regulation, uncertainty, liquidity issues, partnerships, and problems with traditional banking. This is not an easy thing, and Bitfinex has been around a long time. Now, obviously, many investors want the relationship between an exchange and a traditional bank because that's less risk and more certainty. It makes putting your money on the exchange less of a risky thing. That's something you feel a little bit safer telling your friends and family about, maybe. Now, obviously, there's people that don't have any interest in this whatsoever going forward, and they want crypto to remain as wild, wild west as possible. Bang, bang, shoot 'em up. Now, however, that's not what the future is going to look like most likely. Most likely, the future is going to look like more government getting involved, banks and financial institutions getting their hands in and trying to control and regulate how these things operate, just as they did with, and increasingly so, with securities, stocks, commodities, and even your individual money, your taxation, your life, your choices, licensing for professions, etc. It just goes on and on. If there's something the government can regulate and crack money out of, they inevitably will. It's just how it works. Now, do I want the government in anything that I'm involved in? No, not particular. No. I can take care of myself. I'm a big boy. I can research risks. I can protect myself. I can defend myself to the best of my ability. And I do not need an overarching tyrannical government taking half of my money, restricting my personal freedom, my freedom of association and trade, all in the name of protecting me. I don't need that. I don't want that. This is real life, people. Government cannot save you. And when it looks like they are, all they're generally doing is holding you back and sucking the marrow out of your bones. So getting back to Bitfinex, Bitfinex has been a trailblazer for just about every exchange that has followed them. They've taken on a lot of risk. They've taken a lot of responsibility. And personally, and I don't care what you think, I think they should be applauded for what they have done on behalf of the crypto community. Now, does that mean they're free of corruption? Absolutely not. We all know that as institutions grow and become more systemic, and especially as traditional institutions get their fingers into them, that rot creeps into the system, and they tend to rot from the inside out. This is just the taint. This is just what happens when you have our traditional systems, which are based on tyranny and violence and control and regulation. When those start to get their tendrils into you, and when you start to compromise, which you have to do if you want to be big. You can be small and unsuccessful, or you can be big and kind of play the game. But once you start playing that game, that rot of fear and tyranny starts seeping into you. And institutions tend to corrupt from the inside out. This is just what happens when you get infected with evil. Things start off free and prosperous, and if they become successful enough, you get the tax man and the governments coming in with their guns, and they throttle you into submission or bash your head in with a rock if you won't submit. And when you submit to evil, it corrupts your spirit. It's a sad state, but I've just seen it happen so much in crypto. Now, I don't know if Bitfinex is solvent or not. I think they most certainly have a lot of money, undoubtedly. I'm sure that they are having or have had banking issues. I don't know to what extent they have that figured out. What I do know is that absent corroborative data that they are actively fleecing investors, I think the net benefit for crypto, for the Bitfinex exchange existing and doing what it's doing, is much greater than worse at the moment for liquidity and namesake. Now, Bitfinex did fire back against Proof-of-Research. Let's see here. Yep, we have here, this is on Bitfinex's official blog. Now here, they talk about how they're just kind of congratulating themselves here for a while, which you don't mind. But here they have links to Bitcoin Cold Wallet 1, Ethereum Cold Wallet 1, EOS Cold Wallet 1, which purports to show about $1.5 billion in funds. They also say this is just a part of their holdings, that this is not all their holdings, and that this does not even take into account the holdings that they have in fiat. Let's see here. They also say that any mention of their relationship with Noble Bank has nothing to do with their solvency. We'll see. Now, the bigger rumor, I think, is that Bitfinex now has a relationship with HSBC Bank. So we will wait and see what comes of this news. I mean, Bitfinex is under no obligation to reveal their private banking situation, their association. Whatever bank they have a relationship with to hold their funds and provide them liquidity, they have an incentive to keep that hidden. Now, why is that, you might ask? Well, why, if you're a crypto exchange, would you want to keep your personal relationship with whoever is holding your funds, large amounts of fiat? Why would you want to keep that secret? You want to keep it secret, not so much that you care that your investors know. You don't want the governments to know. You don't want the regulators to know. Like Jesus. If they make that knowledge public, what bank accounts all their funds are sitting in, or what bank is holding those accounts, then they're going to have the risk of having the banking and governmental interests, but I repeat myself, moving in and causing a lot of problems, which equates to the users of Bitfinex's platform having a lot of problems. So, TLDR, if you feel comfortable using Bitfinex's platform without knowing who their bank is, or exactly how much money they have, or if they even have any money at all, then that's up to you. Using any exchange comes with inherent risk. You're giving ownership of your crypto to somebody else that's not you. You've given regulation of your keys up to somebody else, and at the end of the day, they can do whatever they want with your money. If you trust Bitfinex, okay. If you don't, okay. I don't think everything is all black or all white. Life is shades of gray. I don't put all my money on exchanges. I keep money on exchanges for very small periods of time. I'm pretty on point with my cold storage and my digital security, and I recommend that approach to everyone else because it's served me well. So, okay, on to Fortnite. So, Season 6 of Fortnite is upon us, and so are the scams. In addition to the regular slew of free V-Bucks, wall hacks, aim assists, etc., free battle passes that come out every time a new update is pushed out for a popular game. This time, according to Malwarebytes, there's something a little more insidious making the rounds this season. So, let's go over here. Okay. So, Fortnite gamers targeted by data theft malware. So, essentially, the gist of this article, this is on the official Malwarebytes side. It'll be linked down below. So, the long and the short of it is there's some nifty YouTube videos making the rounds, claiming to give you an aim bot, basically proposing to let you hit whatever you're aiming at, which would be wonderful for your rankings. The video in question takes you to a website where it asks you to subscribe to the above stated YouTube channel before taking you to a fairly professional looking website that allows you, after some clicking, to get to a more generic download site with a bunch of advertisements. We've all been there. After you download said file that is supposed to hack your Fortnite, it runs in the background and steals your browsing history, your autocomplete data, your Bitcoin wallet data, especially Electrum wallet addresses and keys, and Steam sessions, and sends them to an index.php at an IP address located in the Russian Federation. Big surprise. Now, this IP address has been seen many times before in similar hacks and scans, and other variations on this have been seen, especially sending to gate.php, which is indicative of someone using Zmod. So the link to the article is in the section down below. Suffice it to say to all my gamers out there, nothing beats hard work. Cheating and hacking only makes you prove how small of a person you are and how ineffective. And not only that, it's just a completely wrong mindset. If you want to get good at something and actually have something to stand on, then just work hard, man. Just work hard. You're really no different from any other hack or thief that can't get a buy on their own merit. And that you have to subsist by being a parasite on those who have the courage to stand up and face the chaos of the world with their back straight and their shoulders back, with the goal of improving themselves and becoming good at something. So don't be a parasite, guys. All right, now with all that said, all that's out of the way, I will say that there's one other thing that I think is interesting, and that is that weekly Bitcoin volatility reached an all-time low this week, the previous week. It's obviously Monday, the beginning of a new week. Happy Monday. Hold on just a second. So, that trading range is getting tight, guys. We're going to pop one way or the other. That's what's going to happen when the range gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So let's go to the charts and take a look at that. All right, so we've got Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, and Stellar Lumens up here right now. And did you guys see anything similar? You guys see? Oh, it's range trading. Yes, very nice tight range. That's what we like to see. So let's go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin first. All right, now, Bitcoin is moving nicely. It's about the 50% mark on this on our symmetrical descending triangle that we had drawn earlier. Now TD sequential gives us a 4 of 9, so we are on a sell setup to the upside. However, look at this long shadow on the current candle. Now this doesn't mean anything. However, we did have this this hammer reversal candle right here, the previous candle on the 3 of 9. The 4 of 9, however, looks very similar to what we saw over here and over here. These dojis that are, there's just a lot of pressure up and down. I mean, the range is just getting so tight right now. We have a series of higher lows and lower highs, and this is just compressing us into a range where something's going to pop. Now, the current, we don't actually, there's a couple ways to play this. Now, the daily candle did actually close above the pivot line. Now, there is a new pivot line plotted, so I really want to see this daily direction, but the reality of the situation is I closed my position out last night, and I'm not in a position on Bitcoin right now. I really need to wait and see where it's going to go. Ichimoku, we're range trading in between the Tenkan and the Kijun. We haven't broken this Kijun yet. If we break the Kijun, I'll be a little bit more bullish, especially. So breaking the Kijun would mean that we're closing above target 1 of the pivot, and that would be a good sign for me. And then I'd be interested to see what happens if we get up here close to this Kumo cloud. But don't see any of that yet right now. Range mode activated. So I'd actually be, I'm leaning more bearish right now, in the slight uptick. But these are moves of $100 either way. The volatility is very low right now, and so the market's not frothy for me. Trust me, when Bitcoin pops and it moves one direction or the other after this tight range, you're gonna know. There's going to be plenty of time to get in on that trend. Either we're going to come up, kiss this Kumo, and trade up here on a massive breakout. Anything could happen. Or we're going to come down and we're going to break below our supports. I think that either is likely. There's just no marketable data right here, and any predictions based off this are going to be completely useless. So this doesn't make me... Listen, I'm not a mind reader. I'm a trader, all right? You can't look at this chart and tell me which way Bitcoin is going to go. There's just absolutely no way. And I call hooey on anybody that wants to say that they know exactly where BTC is going to go. You've got half of everybody saying BTC is going to go down right now. Half of everybody saying BTC is going to go up right now. What we do know is that in the long run, Bitcoin's going to go up. So you are much safer in the long run buying Bitcoin at any price. If you're holding it for the long term, which is the best thing to do, I mean, in addition to trading, not everybody's cut out for trading, but you definitely are, I feel you're completely safe. We believe that this is going to replace money, traditional fiat money, because it's a better technology, it's safer, it's more secure, it allows more freedom. It's just the better technological tool, and human beings adapt to the better technological tool. All right. So Bitcoin, not doing a whole lot, leaning a little bit more... I'm not leaning anyway. I recant previously stated things. I want to wait for the current daily candle to close. That'll close us above the pivot. Although this long tail up concerns me, so this does kind of look like since the range is tightening up so much. Look, 4 candles here to the downside, 2, then 3, then only 1. What are we going to see here? Just a completely sideways movement. It's just not an exciting market to trade right now, guys. You can hop on your BitMEX and use your leverage trading on your 15-minute chart and day trade this sucker all day long. But for a longer positional trade, no telling. All right. Ethereum. Ethereum looks, the same. Ethereum looks the same. We had a hammer candle right here. We've got a long tail up pushing us down. We're waiting for this candle to close above the pivot line. We've got, our DI negative and our DI plus are about to cross over. ADX is really low, meaning there's no trend. We had a nice, strong, perfected 8 count right here, hammer candle reversal, which would have given us this move real nice right here. And then obviously our sell signal from our Kraken Crypto Fisher interval. But we've just got too much conflicting data right now. Let's see here. We are a little bit above the point of control on the VPVR. Obviously, a lot of volume was purchased here, but still, volume super low, man. The volume on this candle is equal to the volume on this candle. This candle is a little bit more impressive, I think. but then this candle is the exact same. I mean, so the volume is absolutely the same. It's just not super impressive, and then currently long tail up. So this doesn't make me feel extremely bullish or bearish right now. We've just got to wait and see which way the trend breaks. Either way, we're going to see a lot of volume coming in, guys. So what I'm saying is you need to be out of position right now, and you need to be perched. You need to have the alerts on your phone. You need to be watching the charts, and you need to be waiting to see which way this sucker's going to break. We do have a 2 above. We do have a green 2 trading above a green 1. So according to TD sequential, there is a long trade on the books right now. All right, let's take a look at Ripple. I think Ripple is probably the one that's looking the best out of all of them. Our exponential moving averages have us as bullish. The only bad thing is our DI negative is our DI plus is above our DI negative is above our DI plus, and our ADX is pretty low. So not doing a whole lot on the ADX. Not a super strong trend. However, we do not look fairly bad here. From the bottom to the top of this movement, we're at the 61.8 retracement. In fact, if you had put in a buy at the 61.8 retracement, you would have not gotten filled, but you would have barely missed it by a couple Satoshis. So I think that right now is probably a great place to get into Ripple. We'll see if we get some resistance from the point of control right here, but the point of control being above the current price action means that price is attracted to go back to the point of control. It's the fair market value as far as much data as the market has. That would be right at the pivot point too. So the pivot point is obviously the place of high volume trading right now. So Ripple looks like a good trade, definitely on the daily. We just had a nice hammer reversal candle right here, and we've turned green. And the volume for the bearish candles was very low. The only actual one that was fairly impressive was this one right here, and that was a hell of a doji, meaning there was a lot of buying volume right here. So then we had a fully engulfing candle that wiped out these 2 bullish candles, and then 2 fairly not impressive bullish candles. So the bearish volume, these candles are important, but based on their volume, they're not so much more important than these. So they are impressive, but we have to take that into account with the 61.8 fib retracement. So this is kind of I think this is a good position to get into Ripple, but again, it's totally fine if you want to sit on the sidelines because the volume is not quite there yet. I could see how you can kind of look at this either way, how the volume could be iffy. You definitely, the bearish candles do seem a little bit more impressive than the bullish candles right here. We are on a 7 of 9 to the downside. So if we price flip right here, see a completed 8 count, but as long as we stay above this target 1, I'd be cool with that. But again, right around that 61.8 retracement is where we saw this hammer reversal. So we'll see if the buying volume, and obviously that's why all these people bought in. So we'll see if the volume is sufficient enough to push us above. I think that if we break this pivot point, this point of control, I think a better approach would be to stay out, and then you wait for the pivot and the point of control to get broken, and you check the volume, and if it's good, you ride the trend. I think that's probably the safer approach. Okay, stellar lumens real quick. A lot of questions about stellar lumens. We'll zoom out and look at the daily, sorry. All right. Good consolidation right around that point of control. We had the hammer reversal candle, and then the green 2 above the green 1, and we're going above the pivot. I'd like to wait and see us close above the pivot. However, just the volume is not there though, guys. Again, this is the same on all the charts. We can take a look and see where our fib retracement is right here. So up to the bottom, look, we came right down to this, a little bit above the 61.8. We're at the 50% retracement right here is where we're consolidating sideways. We have that green 2 above the green 1. We're waiting to close above the pivot, but the volume isn't there. However, the other nice thing too, we look at all this correlated, and this is something I didn't point out on the last 2 charts as well, especially with Ripple. But if you look at our Fisher crossover, our EMAs are bullish, meaning our 20-day moving average is above our 55-day moving average. And we're coming back down to our oversold position on stellar lumens right now, and we're looking at a Fisher crossover. So actually, I bet if we look at the arrows, yep, see, we had our entry position right here on the 7 of 9. We had our exit position right here that confirmed the overbought and oversolds. And we're looking, not only are we looking like we're going to bottom here, but we can see the crossover occurring. So that means the crossover is going to occur on the next candle, and I'll have it plotted back 1. That's how I have the chart. It's a hack. So, this green 2, there's a bullish trade definitely on the charts here for lumens. Of all the four big ones, Bitcoin, Ethereum, stellar lumens, and Ripple, lumens looks the most bullish and has the best trade on the table as of right now. Okay, so looking at the crypto screener, a lot of people ask me how I screen daily for breakout trades. I'll make a video on that and a little bit more in depth. It's not a overly complicated process. I just look for momentum, a moving average, a good moving average rating, ADX. There's other traders that do the exact same thing. So this is not some state secret. But a lot came, but I'm not going to get into that right now. So a lot came up on the scanner today on the daily chart. So I screen on the daily, and then I go down to the 4 hour and the 1 hour, and I look for an entry position when I'm making signals for our subscribers. And the ones that came up that were interesting to me were Decred, Storage, Mod, and Icon. So we can see here that we've had good percentage changes: 7.53 on Decred, 6.60% on Storage, 3.85% on Mod, and 3.23% on Icon, a moving average rating of buy on every single one of them. And then ADX is underneath and consolidating. So, you know, we need an ADX underneath 25, ideally 30, to see retracement and consolidation. And then I look at that with volume. Obviously, there needs to be more bullish momentum than bearish momentum. I'm not looking to take a bearish trade unless it's a coin on BitMEX that I can short. So the ones that I decided to take a closer look at were Storage. So taking a look at Storage, I've correlated the Fib. Oh, sorry about that. That drawing tool. What of that? Drawing tools. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so I correlated the Fib retracements right here, and we really had this nice massive runoff. Like I said, you know, for those of you who were paying attention, especially last night, we made a lot of calls last night, and like I said, we closed out last night at about 20%. We had this nice little cup consolidation forming, and any trader who saw anything like this, I mean, look at this. You had this. Let's check. I would bet you we're right on this retracement. Look at that, 61.8, right around this range right here. 61.8 range right here with all these long tails down, and you didn't take that trade? What are you looking at? Look at that big runoff and pop up to the top. Now, you definitely want to be out of this trade right now. Look at all these tails forming up right here. And we're looking for a better entry position. Fisher also confirms that we're going to reverse right here. We're at the oversold position. TD Sequential tells us. Yeah, TD Sequential had us out of the market here. The perfected 8, you know, but you would not have exited. Maybe you would have exited on this long red candle, but you would have missed out on this. And you know, that's why you have to correlate a lot of these different things, guys. So we're looking for a really good optimum entry, and where do we see? We see our 382, and our 05 kind of confirm right here. So this is the area that I'm looking at on the map. I really want to get in anywhere between somewhere around the area of 41.36. I've got the alert. I think 41.24 actually, a little bit lower. This 618 might even be juicier because with this big runoff, you tend to see more bearish volume. But again, here's the bearish candles right here, and their volume is very weak. You know, so the bullish volume is still very much in control of this trade, but we do need to see a pullback. You know, these long tails are also indicative to the upside of a long pullback. Obviously, there's just a ton of resistance right here. This is where the trade met the first wall of resistance, and now it's meeting this wall of resistance right here. There's just a lot of sellers who obviously bought in right here, who are offloading at this price. So it is possible that there is enough excitement in the market to break past that. And that would be a breakout trade for you to watch, but much more likely we retrace to a more reasonable consolidation level before and the steam blows off a little bit before the bulls pick back up again. Looking at modem, most of these look almost exactly the same. You know, again, you had this nice consolidation here at about the 50% mark, and then you had this really nice run up. You have the perfected 9 giving you the sell off, and now we're looking for that pullback. I think actually a little bit less on the modem. I'd like to see a pullback up here to this resistance level, maybe the 382 to the 0.5. But you know, we have our and again, this 382 corresponds with the smart Fibo of 50%. So this is a good range right there on that pivot point. So I'd like to see price pull back to this pivot point, which is also the point of control on the VPVR. So we're looking to potentially get an entry around the 1051. So again, today is not a good buying day. Last night was a great buying day. Got some excellent trades. I hope you guys, again, you know, we push out trade ideas to our subscribers, so please check out our Discord. There will be more calls to action at the end of the video. So today is just a resting day, guys. Today is a day to enjoy profits. And tonight we will look and see how everything looks, and see if we have some better entries, see if we can come closer to these pullback levels. Decred, exact same thing. We had this movement right here, came back to the 61.8 retracement. We had very weak bullish momentum, very weak bearish candles at this point in time, and then we had this super huge. Look at this. This is what you could refer to as a test pump. Look at this massive doji right here coming up to test resistance, and then everybody notices that. Look at that massive volume, and then the bulls rush in. So again, you have the perfected 9 on the TD sequential to get you out of the trade. We actually moved up a little bit, so not sure the fundamentals behind this. I don't know if this was pumped, but I do know that we're coming up on the oversold. We do have bullish EMAs, so I'm looking for a better or bigger pullback actually, and I have the 38.2, which corresponds with this movement's 61.8 retracement right here. So I'm looking to see anywhere, this is kind of an just arbitrary squiggly line, but I want to see price pull back again. Now we've got this long tail upwards on the hourly chart, so definitely want to see the bears take over a little bit and push price down. This does not work like traditional stocks, guys. I'm just too familiar with how the crypto markets work. You have to be pretty fast and precise if you want to make these good positive day trades. Again, last night was the great time to buy in. All the volume told you to buy in, especially after you saw this test pump, and then boom, price moves up. So it's just not, but these things just don't sustain. They don't keep going, especially with everybody kind of looking and waiting to see what Bitcoin's doing. Bitcoin and all the big alts move sideways, and then everything pops off, and then it comes back, and then we wait to see what Bitcoin does. If Bitcoin continues sideways, we could see some test pumps here. So again, on Icon, waiting to see this pull back to the 61.8. We're almost there. We might see a little bit more significant retracement, but again, that's the a little bit above the VPVR and the pivot line. Again, look at this. I mean, this just looks the same as that storage that we saw earlier. We had we had a double bottom right here, and look at all these long tails to the downside. And then we see all this bullish momentum come in. We see all this bullish volume. This bullish volume, these candles are more impressive than these bears. We had just these long tails down. When you see this, guys, especially once you start seeing this bullish volume come in, there's going to be a movement. And we had this perfected 8 with our non-perfected 9 giving us the sell signal, and so we should definitely be out of the trade right now. So waiting for this pullback. We're going to check in the evening and see how everything looks. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you found today informative. Again, if you are new to the channel, please subscribe. If you are a returning viewer, give us those thumbs up. And I'd love to hear your comments down below. The comment that I'd like to hear today is, what are your guys' thoughts? Do you think Bitcoin's going to go up, or do you think Bitcoin's going to go down? And what correlation do you see between the markets moving sideways on the bigger alts and then the smaller alts popping up or popping down? I know there's lots of comments and thoughts about this. I would like to hear what your guys' comments are down below. All right, let's do some promotions. CrackingCryptocurrency.com. What is Cracking Cryptocurrency? Cracking Cryptocurrency is a subscription-based signal service and news outlet. We are a publisher. So, if you would like to keep up to date on the daily signals, great trade ideas, and trade results, please head over to CrackingCryptocurrency.com. Please hit us up on our Discord at discord.crackingcryptocurrency.com. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Steemit. All the social links are in our channel banner and link down below. And I've been Justin Wise for Cracking Cryptocurrency with another episode of Breaking Bitcoin, guys. Stay cracking.